Bang! Neeves Knives, I'm Jared, and today I have a bunch of knives laid out here, and the theme of today's video is sleek and slim knives. Now we have a whole bunch of them to get through, so let's get into it. The first one is actually a model that's already existed, but now, for the first time shown anywhere as far as I know, the new blade shape. So we have the OCASO SOLSTICE in a WHARNCLIFF and a HARPOON blade shape. So we have two new blade shapes from OCASO. Now this is an Andrew Demko design, which is pretty crazy because we're used to seeing massive overbuilt hard use knives from Andrew Demko. So it's awesome to see him, do something like this. But it's very sleek, very slim. The blade hides itself inside the handle. It has an S35 VN blade, titanium scales, a steel liner, and a deep carry clip that is reversible. I love the pivot, how it's a trapped pivot with the OCASO logo on it. The action is really snappy. The flipper tab is minimal, but super functional. It has no jimping on it, so it's nice and smooth, but it has the right shape for you to basically build up pressure. So you can just do a light switch on it where you just yank it down, and as soon as that detent breaks, this thing snaps open with authority. Or you can build up pressure into the push button. Both are equally as satisfying, and like I said, it is snappy, very snappy. Good access to the lock bar, very smooth on the drop, and as it closes, you can feel the detent pull the blade back into the closing position, which is also satisfying in its own way. These are really awesome. Now I know some people, because the first video I ever did on one of these was the drop point version, which is the one that most people know. Well, when I did a video on that, I said that it was a CEO killer. Now, a bunch of people came in the comments saying that, well, no, it can't be a CEO killer because the CEO was only 50 bucks. But hear me out. The CRKT CEO, yes, while it was only like 50 bucks or something like that, it was made in China with budget materials. This is made in Taiwan with premium materials. So if CRKT did the CEO in Taiwan in premium materials, I promise you it'd be more money than this. So you can see that just by looking at their new USA knife in 154 cm G10 in steel liners. It's very expensive, and Taiwan's prices are not much more affordable than the USA. Anyways, it's an awesome, sleek, slim knife. It almost looks like a pen in your pocket, very easy to carry. And, it's a knife, it's got a long blade, so you're carrying around a full-size knife while it's super slim and easy to carry. The next one is the Giant Mouse Rio. Now this knife comes in multiple different micarta handle materials. This one's the denim micarta one, the one I have. It has MagnaCut steel. Yes, I wish the MagnaCut was a little bit harder, but it's not horrible. I have sharpened this one already. It did take an incredibly sharp edge. Fantastic access to the lock bar. Nice and snappy thumb flick or reverse flick, and it's super duper lightweight, very easy to carry, reversible deep carry clip. Like I said, the access to the lock bar is really comfortable, so it's satisfying the action is very satisfying, but I love how the blade and the handle complement each other. This is such a useful design. It's so lightweight, but it's a very, very capable knife. Next one, so this next one is one that's in stock now, and it is something that I said that it sounded like an alien in the first video I made of it. Listen to this. So basically it has a very slim slip joint back spring, so it is a slip joint, and it has multiple different stops, so it's very easy to close one-handed. You're under no threat when closing this one-handed. Technically, I can pinch it open and swing it open, if I wanted to get it one-handed. But beautiful clip point blade. That's a very useful clip point blade. I'm not always a big fan of clip point blades, but this one's really, really good. Very, very useful for EDC. M390 steel, titanium scales, and then it has this glow-in-the-dark inlays. So if you hit it with a bright light and it's dark out, it'll start glowing, and it actually holds the glow for a decent amount of time. But yeah, it's an easy to open and close slip joint knife. The back spring, because it's so slim, you know, it makes it very easy to open and close. And, you know, it's a really cool slip joint. It's something unique, you know, but before seeing this one, I'd never seen anything like that. But there's another one that they have that's kind of similar, and that is the BEETLE S. So the BEETLE S has the same thing where it has multiple stops. So you can hear that, making it very easy to open and close. Now, when it's open, this thing is one of the sliciest knives I've ever had. It has a mega thin blade, very thin geometry, nice broad spear point or drop point blade, beautiful satin finish, M390 steel, and the ergonomics on this titanium bolster lock. So it's titanium bolsters with a carbon fiber handle, and in the hand, it is hand meltingly comfortable. It is so, so comfortable. Then you mix that with this SlICEY blade. This is one of the most functional slip joints I've ever used in my life. It is so SlICEY, so useful, so comfortable. It is an absolute beast. This knife will outperform most knives. Next is, let's go down to a little bit of a budget. We have the CIVIVI Imperium. Now the CIVIVI Imperium is a multiple deployment knife. It has a front flipper and thumb studs. Comes in many different handle materials. They have contoured carbon fiber. They have flat G10 scales. So there's a lot of flavors with this one and a lot of options. Nitro V steel. I personally love Nitro V steel. The action is nice and satisfying. It is very, very fidgety. You can really hear the lock bar engage really nicely, but it's a full-size EDC knife that is super slim, so it's very easy to carry, but when you pull it out, you have a nice long cutting edge that's going to be very versatile and very useful. And because it doesn't have a regular flipper tab, you can turn it around and cut straps, you can do utility cuts, you can use it for a slicer, good access to the lock bar, deep carry clip that is reversible, has a hidden lanyard tube or hidden lanyard pin in the back of the back spacer, good access to the lock bar, very functional deployments. It's a good one for sure. When it first came out, I was raving about it. It's been out for a little while now. Another budget one, we have the KUBEY MIZA. This is a Taguas design, 14C 28M blade steel, super slim, super sleek, multiple deployments. You have this amazing front flipper, which this is a front flipper you can use the thumb with or the pointer finger, just like a regular flipper where you just yank down just like a regular flipper. Works really good. Great access to the lock bar. Then it has this fuller. Now it's a little bit tight, but you can get it. So it has a nice tight fuller in there, but you know, if you're good at reverse flicking, you'll get it. Drop point blade, like I said, 14C 28N, G10 scale, steel liner lock, good access to the lock bar, nice and smooth on the drop, deep carry clip that's also reversible, TA hardware all the way around. It's a solid little knife. It's a super budget knife, but hey, man, it's a great, sleek, slim little knife. Sticking with KUBEY, we have the KUBEY PIKE. Now this one's a premium model, 20 CV, titanium scales with this micro milling pattern that almost has like a feathering to it. So we have a steel liner lock that's wedged in between the back spacer and the other scale, and it has like this little spot that it snaps into. So it's really cool how they put this liner lock together. Then it has a titanium milled pocket clip, a see-through back spacer, and a super functional front flipper. Very fidgety, very easy to deploy. However, it is a very small, compact knife. So while it's premium materials and it is a good looking knife, it's a gent knife for sure. It's not a hard use knife, not a tough knife, not even a work knife. This is a light duty EDC gent knife. And it's a good looking one too. Next, the KANSEPT HAZAKURA. The KANSEPT HAZAKURA comes in a lot of different options. So I'm not gonna go through them all because I believe they even have different blade shapes, but they have different handle materials from budget up to premium. This one is the titanium Damascus version with a Damascus inlay. I love how the blade hides completely in the handle where you can't see it whatsoever. It has a very minimal flipper tab. The flipper tab does work well. Now, I'm not going to say it's a super crispy detent or anything like that, but it does snap out there really, really well. Then it has a very neutral handle, so it's going to be very ergonomic in most people's hands. The Tanto is a straight back, almost a straight back Tanto, somewhat traditional to some extent. It is a gorgeous looking knife though, especially this version with the Damascus and Damascus, but it does come in different handle materials, you know. Next is the Terrain 365. I can't remember the damn name of it, but I'll put it on the screen. This is an awesome little knife. Now, it's kind of weird how this is put together. So we have a Terravantium blade, which is not metal. It's not steel. It's some sort of metal, but it's not steel. So there's no iron in it. So it's non-magnetic, and it's corrosion proof. It does hold a very long-lasting toothy edge. Super snappy detent. But what's weird about this thing is the blade is made in the USA, the parts are made in Japan, and then it's shipped over to China and assembled over there. It's kind of weird, right? You'd think that would cost more than just having the parts made, and I don't know. I don't know why they did that. For some reason, that's how they wanted to do it, but awesome little knife. Titanium liner lock, titanium mill pocket clip, titanium backspacer, hidden lanyard pin, very minimal flipper tab that's very, very snappy. Beautiful spear point blade. I think this is a gorgeous blade shape, and it's a good little functional knife. Now, like I said, this is not steel, so, you know, it's a little different. You know, you're going to want to sharpen it with a toothy edge, and, you know, it should stay nice and toothy and aggressive, but it's not going to be a blade that takes a super fine edge or anything like that. Next is the iconic Benchmade 940. We'll get through this one really quick because everybody should know the 940. It's basically a multi-tool knife. And what I mean is that the blade is super thick and robust while being narrow. So the geometry is not great on it, but what that does do is it makes it to where you can pick, pry, and poke with the knife without worrying about damaging it. Now, I'm not saying go and pry a door off a tank, but, you know, very little light duty prying, it can handle no problem. It has the axis lock. Now, it does come in different versions, smaller, automatics, different blade shapes, different handle materials. So lots of options with the 940. It's been around for a very long time and has been one of the most iconic USA made knives that you can buy. Benchmade 940 has a great warranty, and they're very easy to get because, you know, they've been available for so long. Next, I can't have a Sleek Slim list without talking about the CLAVI. The CIVIVI CLAVI is so good. This is such a useful EDC. I can't express that enough. Kind of like the SOLSTICE in the first one, it has a nice WHARNCLIFF blade, or one of the SOLSTICE. This WHARNCLIFF blade is a laser beam. This is the definition of precision. This tip is so pokey. You could trace out letters out of leather with this thing. That's how precision oriented this thing is. This thing is crazy precision. So what it does, it makes you have complete control over this little laser beam blade. And, you know, you can wedge it, you know, in between seams and cut tape. You can cut things out, you can trace things, and it's SlICEY, so you can actually break down boxes if you wanted to. You can turn it around and cut straps. It has Nitro V steel, which is a steel that does really good with super thin geometry like this. G10 scale, steel liner lock, good access to the liner, front flipping action, nice and snappy, very snappy. It's a very light blade, so it's not going to be the most drop shutty, but that should be expected. It is riding on bearings. It has a non-deep carry clip that is reversible, which I like because it's very easy to grab onto and put in and out of the pocket without, you know, because it's a slim blade. So it's going to be very easy to put in and out of the pocket while being super duper slim, lightweight, and one of the most easiest knives to carry and one of the most functional knives you can get. Now the next one We're gonna step it up a little bit. This one is not in price, but maybe a little bit. It's like 95 bucks. But the HUGINN, this is the Real Steel HUGINN. Now, I love the HUGINN. The HUGINN is riding on washers. It's very smooth, using a crossbar lock, VG10 steel, spear point blade, beautiful swedge. What I love about this knife is this is a sleek, slim, big knife. So I don't mean it's giant, but it's a full-size knife while still holding true to the sleek and slimness. This handle is so comfortable in the hand. You can bear down on this pretty much all day. Then you have a blade that perfectly complements the handle. So it's such a useful design. That's what I'm trying to get at. This knife is one of the most useful knife designs I personally think you could get. Now, it has the crossbar lock, which is a very strong locking mechanism, deep carry clip that is reversible, and it has G10 scales, but it does come in different options, different color options, different color G10s. I think they might even have micarta ones now. I'm not 100% on that. It does also have a fuller, so you can do the reverse flick. Since it's on washers, you got to give it a little bit of a pop, but it does work. The thumb studs work really good though. But like I said, just super ergonomic, super functional blade shape, fantastic size. So everything about this knife is just great for use if you like to use your knives. So work hard, stay tough. Society's relying on you. Until next time, peace.